Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. Welcome again to the subject engineering drawing. Today our topic is lines. This is the third week and the lecture I'm delivering to you is also third. You are in the first semester of the first year. This subject has no prerequisites. Course teacher. I am your course teacher. My name is Engineer Kamal Zaman, and you can email me any question or you can ask me or if you have any query through my email, that is kamar.civil@soot.edu.pk. This lecture will be available on your portal while using this link portal.soot.edu.pk. Coming towards the main topics, that are lines. Uh, Before entering to the topics, first of all, I want to show you the types of lines. The types of lines are shown here.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
The types of lines are shown here. Outlines. The second one is margin lines. The third one is dimension lines. The fourth one is extension lines. The fifth one is construction lines. The sixth one is hatching or section lines. The seventh one is leader or pointer lines. The eighth one is border lines. The ninth one is short break lines. 10th one is long break lines. 11th one is hidden or dotted lines. 12th is center lines. 13 is cutting plane lines. 14 is chain thick line. 15 is chain thick double dashed lines, and in the last, locus lines. We will see one by one. However, these are the types of the lines which are included in engineering drawing subject. So what is outlines? We will see that what are the outlines and where it used and through which pencil we draw it. The second one is margin lines. What are the margin lines and where these are drawn? Dimension lines. Dimension lines. Dimension lines are used for showing the dimension of an object or any drawing. The fourth one is extension or projection lines. What are the extension or projection lines? Construction lines, hatching or section lines. These are the different lines which are used for different purposes. The leader or pointer lines, border lines, short break lines, long break lines, hidden or dotted lines, center lines, cutting plane lines, chain thick double dash line, and in the last is locus line. Now coming towards each line type one by one. First of all, I want to teach you the outlines. That what are the outlines and how it can be used and which kind of pencil, which grade pencil be used for these outlines. In the statement, you can see that lines drawn to represent visible edges and surface boundaries of objects are called outlines or principal lines. Outlines are those lines which are drawn for the visible edges and surfaces boundaries of an object. For example, if we have any object like this, I will construct here any car. The lines which I have drawn here are the outlines. Lines drawn to represent visible edges and surfaces boundaries of objects are called outlines. So these are the outlines. They are continuous thick lines. So the initial lines or the first lines which we draw for any object to represent it is known as outlines. In your drawing, for example, if I want to construct any building, and the building which I want to construct The lines which I have drawn here are outlines of the drawing. Margin lines, they are continuous thick lines along which the prints are trimmed. As we have discussed in the earlier topics in the previous lecture, that margin is provided across to the sides of the sheet. So the lines are drawn across the uh, sheets to which the printing area may be included. For example, here I want to exclude this and this side. Both of the sides I want to exclude. For this purpose, I will draw the lines which are known as margin lines. Margin line 1 and the margin line 2. So these are the margin lines. They are continuous thick lines along which prints are trimmed. This is the final extent. This is the final extent. Up to this extent we print the any drawing etc on the sheet. Beyond this sides, like in these areas, this one and this one, the drawing should be excluded. The drawing must not be added here. However, these drawing would be not available in our printing because of the margin areas. So these lines shows that the position, the area or the point or the sides that are here cannot be printable. Now coming towards the dimension lines, these lines are continuous thin lines. These are continuous thin lines. They are terminated at the outer ends by pointed arrow heads touching the outlines, extension lines or center lines. Okay, now the dimension lines. For example, if we have an object like this square or this rectangle, and I want to show you the length of this side. For example, the length of this side is 4 meter. So how can I show you this length? Using the line to show this length is dimension line. This is known as the dimension line. This line is known as the dimension line must exist two heads, arrowheads on both sides of the line. So this is a dimension line. This dimension line show the original dimension of an object on the drawing sheet. For example, if we have a building like this is a building. In this building here, this is the entry gate, and the second one is like this is a two rooms. Here are two rooms. So the first room is five I consider it 5 feet, and the second one is also 5 feet. So the 5 feet and 5 feet which I have written here, the lines that I have drawn are the dimension lines. So these are termed as dimension lines because of they are showing the dimension of the object, dimension of the building. Here you can also see that I have drawn a line here like this. This is a dimension line, and this dimension line shows that this is a 3 feet gate. So this is known as a dimension line. They are terminated at outer ends by pointed arrowheads touching the outlines. They will touch the outlines, extension line or center lines. What does an outline mean? These are the outlines. So now they are not touching any outlines. Here we will draw the lines like this one line and this one line. These lines are known as the extension lines. However, there are no central lines. Central lines are drawn for any circular area or cylinder. So here are, if you want to see, for example, this is a circle and this is a circle. From these two circles I can also take the dimension length. So it might be from extension line, outline, or central line. These are the dimension lines. Extension or projection lines are those lines which are used for showing the dimension lines, like here. These are the dimension lines. Sorry, extension lines. Extension or projection lines are continuous thin lines, and it is extended about 3 millimeter beyond the dimension lines. Here you can see that I am going to draw the dimension line. This is a dimension line, and this one and the other line that I have drawn here are the extension line. This one is extension line, and this one is also known as extension line. Both of these lines must be provided in the extension lines. If these are not provided, then you can use a center line. If an area consists or a drawing consists of a center line or an outline, then you can use those. However, if those are not available, then you will use extension or projection line. These are the projection line, and its size must be keep 3 millimeter. Construction lines are clear from its name that construction lines are those lines are drawn for the construction of figures. For any figure which we draw, lines are known as construction lines. They are shown in geometrical drawings only. Like for example, any curve which we draw like this one. For example, I want to draw an angle of 45. So this is a baseline. From the baseline I open compass. So for opening the compass, I draw line here and here. For example, this is a 90 degree, and from the 90 I keep the compass here, here, and here. So the from this line is achieved with this. So these are the construction lines. These are used for the construction of an angle. So construction lines are, these are the construction lines that are used for the construction of an angle. They are shown in geometrical drawings. Here you can see that it is an angle, so it's a geometrical drawing. They are continuous thin light lines. They are continuous. You can see here that they are continuous. There is no dashed or missing in the center like this one. So they are continuous lines and thin. Hatching or section lines are those lines which are drawn to make the section evident. Any section that we want to make it evident, the hatching or section lines are drawn. For example, this is a building. In this building we have different portions or different parts, and we want to clear any portion or to clarify any portion in the building. So draw we will draw the lines. That lines are known as hatching or section lines. These are the hatching and section lines. You can see here, these are the hatching or section lines, and the distance in between them is 2 millimeter or 1 millimeter. It's your choice if you want to keep here 1 millimeter space or 2 millimeter space. It doesn't matter. However, you must keep in mind that the angle provided will be 45 degree. Here the angle must be provided 45 degree. Whether you want to draw the lines from this angle, from this side, or from this side, it depends upon you. However, you must keep in mind that the angle provided will be 45 degree, and the space provided will be 1 millimeter and 2 millimeter. So these are the hatching lines. Leader or pointer lines, what does it mean? The leader or pointer lines are those lines which is drawn to connect a node with feature to which it applies. They are continuous thin lines. These lines are used to connect node with feature. This statement says that, for example, if we have an object like this in the drawing sheet, And here in the drawing sheet we have constructed this circular drawing, and in the circular drawing here in any part of the drawing we want to clarify and we want to connect it with a note. So I will draw a line like this, and I will write here I will write here that it is a 4 cent I will here write 4 centimeter by 4 centimeter square. I can also 4 by 4 centimeter square, or I can write its name. For example, this is a an exhaust, so I will write here exhaust. So this shows this line will be used to connect the node with a feature. This is a feature and this is a node, so this kind of line must be used for connecting a node with a feature. They are continuous thin lines, so it's clear that they are continuous and thin lines. One thing more in these little lines to be kept in mind, that here the angle provided will be greater than 0 and less than 90. If I will draw a line simply this one, that is horizontal, it is not okay, it is wrong. If I will draw a line vertical, this is also not okay, this is also wrong. So I will provide some angle like this one. You can also add a dot here instead of a arrow. So this also shows the leader or pointer line. Border lines, perfectly rectangular working space is determined by drawing the border lines. They are continuous thin lines. Uh, for example, if we have a sheet like this, and in this sheet we want to construct any drawing, before drawing construction we must construct and draw the lines which are known as border lines. The space provided will be 2 centimeter here, 1 centimeter here, 1 centimeter here, and 1 centimeter in the bottom. 1, 1, and 1. So this is the border line, which is continuous thin lines. Short break lines, these are continuous thin and wavy lines. These are like uh, these are the wavy short lines. They are drawn freehand and are used to show a short break or irregular boundaries. For any irregular boundaries like this, I want to show any boundary. For example, this one, that is any district or any UC, Union Council, or etc. So such kind of lines would be drawn. So these are the short break lines. And the other one is long break lines. These lines are thin ruled lines with short zigzag within them. They are drawn to show the long breaks. The statement says that these are thin ruled lines with short zigzag. You can see here that I have drawn a short zigzag thin ruled line. So these kind of lines will be drawn for long breaks. Now let's see hidden or dotted lines. So what are the hidden or dotted lines? Uh, Interior or hidden edges and surface are shown by hidden lines. Sometimes there are some drawings or objects which consist of the edges that can be seen and some edges may not be seen. Like this is a cube, and this cubite, I want to show you the edges by dash or dotted lines. So these are the lines, these are the edges which can be shown by the hidden or dotted lines. These lines are also known as dashed lines. They are of medium thickness and made up of short dashes of approximately equal lengths of about 2 millimeters, spaced at equal distance of 1 millimeter. When a hidden line meets or intersects another hidden line or an outline, their point of intersection or meeting should be clearly shown. This statement means that if you want to show the intersection of two lines that are hidden, so it must be clear. Like here you can see that this is a hidden or dashed line, so the another hidden line must be coincide here so that the intersection may be shown clear. On the other hand, if same hidden lines are drawn like this one and the other one is, so the point here is not intersecting each other, so this situation must be avoided and this situation must be reduced. Now let's see that what are center lines. So center lines are drawn to indicate the axis of a cylindrical, conical or spherical objects or details and show the center of the circle or arc. The center lines are drawn to indicate the axis of a cylindrical, conical and spherical object or details. For example, this is a spherical object, cylindrical object, and for this cylindrical object you can see here that this is a line, so this line is known as a center line, or you can say uh, any conical or spherical or circle. For example, this is a circle, and for this circle the line should be drawn like this, so this line is known as center lines. They are thin, long chain lines composed of alternately long and short dashes spaced approximately 1 millimeter apart. This says that one is long, the other is short, the other is long, the other is short, and the space in between them must be 1 millimeter. Cutting plane lines are those lines which cuts the plane. For example, we have a plane like we just if I say that here are two formation of rocks, like this is X and the other formation is of rock is Y, so these are two different formation, so these formation can be cut across a plane. So the cutting plane, the line used for a cutting plane is known as a cutting plane lines. The location of the cutting plane is shown by this line. It is a long thin chain line, thick at ends, like this. This is a thick at ends. So this is known as cutting plane lines. Chain thick line. These lines are used to indicate special treatment on the surface. You can see that chain thick line. This is a thick line and it shows the special treatment, like this is a thick line, so this is known as chain thick line. Chain thick double dashed lines. These lines are drawn to show the chain or part of the chain. Generally it's used in mechanical engineering drawing. Here you can see that chain thick double line is like this. And these are used for the mechanical engineering purposes. Locus line, extreme position of movable parts and pitch circles are shown by these types of lines. For example, if we have a pendulum and the pendulum is moving to and fro, so the movement that it do from here to here, this is extreme position x1 or x0 and this is extreme position x0. So the movement across the path can be drawn by the help of a line. So this kind of line is known as a locus line. Or on the other hand, if we have a fulcrum or if we have a lever, like lever of a of a car. So we can see that it can move in this direction, for example in x and y direction. So this line can also be shown by the locus line. On the other hand, if we see the handbrake of a car, it's also move to and pro. So the line that may be used for those movements is known as a locus line. Here are some lines that are shown through the image, as I have shown you in the first lines, that is outlines. These are the outlines. You can see here that all the drawing that is drawn uh, uh, visible is known as a outline. So this is an outline. You can see that this is an outline. On the other hand, center line is uh, the line passing through a circle, that is dashed line, is known as a center line. So this is a center line. The other one, cutting plane line. So cutting plane line mean that the area that cuts through plane, and the line which we draw is known as a cutting plane line. The hidden lines, those edges which cannot be seen by naked eye due to its improper sitting or placement. So the hidden lines may be used to indicate the edges of those objects. These are the extension lines which I have told you that are used for extension for dimension lines. Like here, this is a dimension line, and in the last the vertical lines are known as extension line. This one is the dimension line. Dimension line indicates the dimension, or you mean length, width, or height of an object in the drawing is known as a dimension line. Leader line, this is known as a leader line, which I have told you in the previous topics, that this is a leader line is a line which connects the feature along with its note. So it is a note. Phi 10 is a note, and this is a feature. So the feature in this drawing is the circle, and note is the phi 10, mean its diameter is 10 units. These are the section lines which are parallel to each other, and the distance in between them is, or the space in between them is 1 to 2 millimeter. You may keep 2 millimeter or 1 millimeter space, and it is and the slope is 45 degree. So these were the different types of lines that you have learned. Another types of lines that are locus line. For example, this is a any mechanical part of mechanical drawing. So the movement of this fulcrum is to and fro. So the path which it follows, the path which it follows is in some line. So this kind of line which is shown here, this one is known as a locus line. These are the short break lines, and these are the long break lines, and this is a chain thick line. Hope you got the lecture. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.